Hi everyone and welcome to the Miss 5MT YouTube channel. As you can see, the title does say Nella Rose Life Update LOL. Now you may be thinking, what's so funny about the situation, or what's so funny about anything related to that? But let me just say, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Okay? And once you get to, let's say, even by the end of this video, you should understand why I named it as so. There is no laughing matter about this situation, and I wish all my dearest condolences to Nella Rose and her family. So one thing I did realize, or one thing you may this is basically a reaction video. One thing I'm gonna name a couple of things that I did notice from the video, pick up from the video, and one thing I do feel, or maybe a few things I do feel us as people can learn from this, or one thing I may say is ask yourself, what do you learn from that situation? So one thing I did realize is that Nella Rose, she made a decision to social distance herself, and that's just not physically, but digitally, socially, on social media. Being able to detox from social media is very essential, and it's not just needed for those that are known in society, or those that are known, or those that are considered influencers. You yourself, you may be wondering, what is it that's stressing you out? What is it that's causing you to feel the way you feel? And you don't realize that social media is actually taking a whole toll on your lifestyle. Take a break. Cut yourself off, and it can get toxic. Social media can get really toxic, especially if you don't have control over it and it has control over you. Another thing I noticed by, let's say, 3 minutes into the video, is that she mentioned something about communication with her friends. When her friends did realize that, okay, there's news going around, because she was already off social media, so when they realized that there's news going around about her, they messaged her to know that, okay, do you want us to say anything? Would you want us to respond to this? Would you want us to, speak on your behalf? And she was able to tell them what she wanted. She was clearly able to explain to us why she told her friends not to say anything until she had spoken on the situation herself. So how is your communication with your friends? Do you find yourself being able to communicate when you find that your friend, your beloved, has done something in the wrong, and they're not even talking about it, but you're quick to jump on the bandwagon? That communication is very much necessary, because then again, what if they're guilty of cause? What if they're guilty of the thing that they're being accused of, and you're there speaking on their behalf and making yourself look like a fool? She mentioned about her past positive work not trending, and currently her two latest videos, which is the life update and the apology videos of hers, having to trend. And it's sad that it's had to be something negative that has got her videos trending. I would like to just remind you, and remind her, if she does watch this video, is that added value can't be taken away. You've invested into a society, you've invested into your environment, you've invested into your people, you've invested into future mothers, future people that also have an impact in their society, in their environment, and that can never be taken away. All those likes that you've got, even though like you've lost followers or she's lost followers, those lives that you have impacted, especially in a positive way, can never be taken away, can never be taken away from your list of legacies that you've created, which we will come to at the end. Another point that I realized, or that stood out to me, was internet trolls. Internet trolls, if I was someone that, swore, I would list every swear word there was in the book and send it right back at you guys, because but then that would be me downgrading myself to your level of thinking, meaning that you have no sense of enlarged or enhanced vocabulary in order to tell somebody that you simply don't like them because you don't like yourself. You haven't come to the fact that you don't like yourself. To the extent where you're talking about the dead, can't you just let the dead let the dead rest? Let the dead, because to me, there's just levels. It seems like there's a thin line of disrespect and just downright idiocy, absolute idiocy. And if idiocy is even a word, but it's super sad that people would come, as they call them, what, keyboard warriors. Get a life. Thank you very much. And through this, it went into how she also explained how she mentioned PTSD and ICU. So PTSD, for those that don't know or didn't know, because I personally didn't know, is post-traumatic stress disorder, and it's a psychological processing of things that's happened in your past, and it could also like basically come back to haunt you through, let's say, nightmares, flashbacks, or thoughts that are reoccurring. So sometimes you do realize, I feel like this also does play a part with people that either pee the bed or people that have sleep paralysis. Yeah, this might be relating to you. Sometimes maybe you have angry outbursts as well, and they create, people like this also create effective coping mechanisms, but effective doesn't necessarily mean that they are healthy. For example, there's a treatment that people with PTSD, that what they usually do is they self-medicate, and one of the things that they do is self-medicate with alcohol. Yes, we do or have seen Nella Rose herself, or she does say that her family do have that trend or do have that follow up, I guess, of drinking alcohol to get rid or to suppress these, I guess, thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And that's very detrimental. I mean, alcohol plays a part with, let's say, lungs, livers, body parts, and how long you will live on this earth. So health is wealth. So please do consider not using alcohol as a way to self-medicate. I beg of you all watching this. ICU is intensive care unit, and she did mention what is attached to her thoughts of the ICU, how her mum also died once she was in the ICU, and also now her dad died once going into the intensive care unit. Now, one thing that I did also realize and understand is that with her past memories, with her mum, she was ready to let go. She was able to say goodbye, but with her dad, that wasn't the case. And that can play a major part. I mean, there's a lot of young people that I know right now going through a situation, even myself going through a situation where we're not able to say goodbye to the people that meant a lot to us, that has impacted us in a positive way, that has, we've had memorable moments with them, and that feeling is very much regrettable, and everyone has different ways of dealing with these feelings, and it's sad. So that also leads on to my point about mourning. Of course, the definition of mourning is to feel great sadness, and she was really upset that these people that she quoted as family members that went at the funeral, that went at the burial, were able to upload or were able to react so suddenly to the news of the death of her father. Not to also take sides, it's just that everyone has their way of mourning, and I guess who are we to know whether their way of mourning is correct or their way of mourning is incorrect. However, with due respect, of course, it comes with due respect to the fact that you do need to communicate with the family as to whether timing with certain things, because it's a delicate situation. It's a very sensitive topic. It's a very sensitive time frame, and of course communication with things like that, it's just like, okay, like the world needs to know what has happened. However, you do need to consider the fact that their daughter is known and on social media, and of course they may not have known that the repercussions or the trolls, internet trolls that have come to her before, knowing that her mum has died, could possibly do the same thing with knowing and being aware of the news that her father has died too. These things could have been communicated, but then again, a lot of things in when it comes to death and when it comes to sudden news can become very complicated and hard to deal with, and just make that effort, I guess. Or if the family do get to watch the video, just apologize. That's also if she does really want to hear, or if the family does really want to hear your apology, which I doubt they do. Another thing I noticed is that she mentioned about how she hates people feeling sorry for her. And one thing I do want to tell you guys is I was wondering, like, why would she hate people feeling sorry for her? And there's a difference between pity and compassion. Pity is when you consider one to be lower in rank, status, or quality of life. She's lost her parents. So people meant to like automatically maybe thinking, oh my gosh, the quality of her life may be bad because she don't have her parents in the picture. This is that, da 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 da. But compassion is when you are driven, is when you're driven to care for someone because that's your basic attitude, that's your basic reaction, which is driven by love. Pity is not driven by love. Pity is driven by you feeling sorry for someone. She doesn't want you to feel sorry for her because the reaction that she will get from that is you treating her as if she's like lower than you, or that she deserves more. Well, you only have one father and one mother, biological mother and father. You can't get any more than that. Do you understand? So there was of course that also leads to the fact that she had no plans on telling social media, and we do understand why, because these internet trolls, especially when it comes to when you have a following or on social media, you have at least I could say across what, a million or hundreds of thousands of people following you, and that's across different social media platforms that she has. So then again, it's also another point of family members, quoted marks, not contributing correctly, I guess, to the situation. Then again, I guess it leads back to what I said about communication is key. Having to come back, she mentioned also having to come back to the house when you've had like so many memories of somebody you've lost. That's a very, very important point she made. And one thing I do realize is that in our community of people, our community of black people, there are people there that can advise, but is not there. And I'd like to say that I know people that can actually help and advise that are also qualified to advise you in how to deal with these things. Because mentally, especially if you've never gone through it before, like for example, she's used to, I guess, moving about, not being in one place, consistently, but now she's found herself having to go back to the house that she's always lived in. It's hard. It's majorly hard. And like with another group of people that I know that have had to many people actually that I've got a long list of, that have had to also go back to the house that they've lost their mother in, that they've lost their sister in, and obviously due to many different reasons, not just corona, but it could be suicide, it could be the fact, different things. So it will just leads to my last point about her being a legacy or leaving a legacy, and her being the seed to her parents and making her parents proud. Let that be the course for all of us as well, like just making that difference on the earth while we have our time here on earth. Her dad played a major part in her being the person that we know today. And of course, like, will always give my hats off to her, because I will know that, okay, I've lived in a time where Nella Rose was one of the few people in the Congolese society, because I'm Congolese by blood and I profess to be Congolese with my chest, my neck, and my back. But yeah, as I said, all jokes aside, literally being Congolese is another thing, because you never even know, like, these trolls might even be Congolese girls that just wish they were like living the lifestyle she's living, and they just can't. And it's sad to know that, because some girls can be really bitter, and it can infuse into you what being a keyboard warrior, because some girls can really do some crazy stuff behind the keyboard and social media. But then again, just this is my part of playing in society, offering that help, offering that hand. As part of IAIW, as you may see, we offer these services where we offer professional help as well as advice, education, knowledge, understanding of how it is to live in the 21st century as a young black adult, as an old as an old or mature black person in society, especially in the UK, because especially in the 2020 has been the craziest year in terms of our Congolese brothers and sisters. At the beginning of the year, it was just right, left and center. Congolese men were getting exposed. And like now, just knowing that this is another Congolese female, we never know what other females there may be, especially if you're Congolese or of Congolese descent, maybe being kicked to the ground. So I'm just playing my part. I'm just looking to play my part in society and spreading a word of knowledge and spreading a word of solutions, because as IAIW, we believe in less drama, more solutions. Young people, we don't know how to deal with things correctly. We need to also be shown a direction of how to deal with things correctly. And unfortunately, the people that came before us don't know how to deal with things correctly either. Most of the time, the solutions to things is just prayer. And unfortunately, prayer is not the answer to everything. certain things need to be dealt with logically. Certain things need to be dealt with professionally, and we're here to help with those things. So if you'd like more information, visit www.iamOverWhoIwas.com. The link should be in the description box, and I do hope to hear from you guys, because sometimes as well, being offered help may make you feel as if you're less than, or you don't know, or unaware, but it doesn't cost a thing to be made aware, or to be made to be given a helping hand out of compassion rather than out of pity, because you guys are the future generations, or you guys are linked to future generations, and through you there are many answers to other people's problems. So remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. It's your lady, Miss 5MT, the one and only, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Mwah. Bye. I am over who I was. There's no going back, and that's